Hello, I'm Alison LaGrange coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show for you, Resurgent Africa. Amid the coups and the crises, there are many positive stories from Africa that often get overlooked, but not on this show. Today we take you to countries around Africa to tell you stories of hope, positivity and innovation, and give you a glimpse into the lives of the people who call this vibrant continent home.
Every week, the sound of trumpets, cornets and tubas echoes through the streets of Nsambia, a neighborhood in Kampala, Uganda's capital city. This scene unfolds when the community brass band holds its practice. With the band leader in the center giving directions, the band members play diligently, eyes fixed on their sheet music. This is no ordinary band. The members are children from Kampala's most marginalized communities. They're not just learning music, they are gaining vital life skills through these sessions. These special classes are run by an organization called Brass for Africa. The organization believes in the transformative power of music. Most of these children live on the streets or spend most of their time there. To involve them in something that can change their lives, the organization leaves no stone unturned.
They are falling prey to things like harassment, antisocial behavior, joining gangs and things like that. They're children living in rehabilitation centers, living in refugee settlements, children living with physical and mental disabilities, children and young people living in informal settlements where their basic needs and basic rights are not always met.
Music offers them a path to a better life. It serves as a hook that engages them in difficult times. They learn essential life skills like self-confidence, teamwork and leadership, skills that may help them thrive in a few years.
It's music and life skills. So we're learning skills like self-confidence, teamwork, communication, concentration, resilience, leadership, skills that any young person would need to have to survive and to thrive in life, but can be really, really hard to come by.
These brass band classes have given the community's children a glimmer of hope. The enthusiasm and dedication they bring to their classrooms speak volumes.
My friends become surprised seeing me playing an instrument like a trumpet. They become surprised. They don't expect me.
Each day I come, I learn something. Each day I come, I get something new from my friends. Each day I come, I get to know what should I play, what should I perfect, where am I going wrong.
Many even dream of pursuing this further as a career.
Actually, I want to become a musician specialized in playing emotional songs by playing the saxophone, the trumpet, the violin, and every instrument that expresses a feeling of the song, the heartbeat of the song.
Children who have joined the band say their lives have improved significantly. They hope this path leads to a better future.
So my life before joining the band was really hard. And if I continued living that kind of life, I don't know what kind of a girl I would have been today. Maybe I would have been married or in the market, selling something like that. But my doors are opening, I'm getting connections, meeting different people. I'm getting different skills like public speaking, the life skills from the life skills that I'm learning.
Some of the teachers in the organization were once students of Brass for Africa. They chose to teach because they believe that no one understands the challenges faced by the students better than them. Brass for Africa is not just teaching music, it's changing lives through the power of music. Children from marginalized communities are finding hope and dreaming of a better future. This initiative proves that with the right support, nothing is impossible. Today's era is marked by rapid technological progress, and artificial intelligence is spearheading it. People are using it in every way they can, from businesses to using it as a companion for loneliness. The dependency and usage of AI is on the rise. Communities worldwide are using modern tools to preserve their cultural and historical legacies. One of them is the Ibadi Muslim community on the Tunisian island of Djerba. They are using artificial intelligence to protect their centuries-old manuscripts. This mission has been started by a 74-year-old librarian. Saeed Al-Barouni has taken on the mammoth task of protecting his community's relatively unknown heritage. Barouni took over his family's library in the 1960s. The collection is almost 6 generations old, and he has been working tirelessly to preserve as many Ibadi manuscripts as possible.
My grandfather and my father are graduates of Zitona and were passionate about this heritage and took on the responsibilities of Sheikh and Imam. They preserved the collection. We then took up the torch and made them available to researchers across all universities, both in Tunisia and abroad.
Because ancient Arabic cursive is difficult for modern readers to interpret, Barouni has started using Zinki, an AI software that reads and simplifies ancient manuscripts. Feras Ben Abid, a London-based Tunisian software engineer who created Zinki, believes the tool makes it possible to access numerous manuscripts that would otherwise be indecipherable. It also helps to correct misunderstandings about certain topics, such as Ibadi heritage. The library houses over 1,600 ancient Ibadi texts and books. The material is on a variety of subjects, including astrology and medicines. Some of the work dates back to 1375 AD.
Around 1,200 pages of manuscripts were digitized. We formed around 5 teams to correct the errors because the artificial intelligence software leaves a margin of error of between 1 and 10%. We formed teams to correct the small margin of error, and we managed to correct completely.
Barouni keeps the manuscripts in a small conservation room. Numerous weathered books stand among ozone generators that prevent paper deterioration by stopping mold and other harmful organisms from forming. The manuscripts are cleaned and digitized. Barouni sees it as the only viable solution today for saving these old texts. Most of their manuscripts are now kept in family libraries. Every family in Djerba has these libraries, but many manuscripts have been sold or traded.
Fortunately, our grandfather had stipulated that these books were not to be inherited, sold or shared. So we kept everything. And then the founder's children and grandchildren added to the collection by buying manuscripts sold in the Djerba market.
The Ibadi Muslim community in Tunisia's Djerba is the perfect example of resilience and adaptability. By incorporating AI technology, they are not only safeguarding their rich heritage, but also ensuring that future generations can access and appreciate these historical manuscripts and bridge the gap between the past and the present. Music has the power to heal people. It gives them strength to deal with their pain. The chords can help one in zoning out miseries. You must have heard about the power of music. But a small town in the West African nation of Ivory Coast is a living example of it. Away from the hustle and bustle of Abidjan city, the northern rural town of Odienne is grooming budding musicians. These children between the ages of 6 and 16 use music to shape their lives. Around 140 children of Odienne have formed an orchestra. Odienne relies heavily on agriculture, sometimes involving child labor. The childhood of these youngsters is often lost to poverty and the uncertainty of high unemployment. But in the middle of all this, a bus takes them away from their realities to the joyous world of music. These children gather once a week, but every day a few youngsters gather to practice. The music sessions have given 9-year-old Leila Koulibaly a way of leading her life.
I want to be a professional musician because the orchestra changed my life. There's nothing here. The orchestra is important for us. It helps us to organize ourselves well, to tolerate each other and be disciplined.
While 15-year-old Siaka Sai Savan uses his music lessons to forget about the exhaustion that comes from helping his mother in the market and his brother in the field.
In the morning, at midday, and in the evenings when I get home from school, I don't have lessons in the evening, so I come to help my mom. After that, on Saturdays and weekends, I go to the field. And now, in the evening, when I go to the orchestra, I eat a lot before going to the orchestra. I take my time to wash up. I do all that before going to the orchestra and meeting up with my friends to play.
The economic woes are not the only hurdle. They also have to fight conservative parents, especially in predominantly Muslim areas where music is not considered a fit for followers of Islam. Given the situation and the hopes that the orchestra brings to these children, the group's instructor believes it's a crazy project.
In fact, we're doing the opposite of what a traditional orchestra does. That is to say, at a traditional orchestra is a gathering of all the best musicians who have passed competitions, who have got their diploma, etc. Here, the Odienne Orchestra started by bringing them together as an orchestra, and that's where they learn about instruments, playing technique, music theory, and so on.
La technique de jeu, le solfège, la musique et tout.
While being taught to tune their instruments, these children also learn to tune in the chords of their lives. The orchestra has given them hopes of a better future and encourages them to fight the harsh realities to chase their ambitions.
It has changed my life. Yes, ever since I was little I've dreamt of being a musician. I wanted to play the trombone. Ever since I was a little boy, I've dreamed of being a musician, and now my dream is coming true.
They can play Mozart's March of the Priests from the magic flute. Their performance on Coup de Marteau became a hit during the closing ceremony of the Africa Cup of Nations this year. They have also played for Ivory Coast's president, Alassane Ouattara, last year on the anniversary of independence from France in 1960. This shows that despite the odds and hardships, dreams do come true. And these children and their determination are a testament to that. For many women in Kenya, the first task in the morning is to keep the kitchen running. Women gather firewood, then make the morning tea. But soon enough, entire walls and wood pillars are covered in soot. The room is filled with smoke. And as people sip on their morning tea, they cough. Some even have trouble breathing. All of this because of the smoke released by the firewood that most Kenyans use to make food.
I have been using firewood all my life and wake up every morning to fetch it. However, the smoke from the firewood makes me cough for long periods and causes difficulty in breathing. LPG gas is quite expensive and I cannot afford it.
Respiratory diseases have been the most prevalent diseases in Kenya for the past 6 years, with 19.6 million reported cases. And officials say biomass, like firewood, is the largest contributor to these diseases. Then why do people continue to use firewood in their kitchen? Because clean cooking options are too expensive for many. The high prices of clean fuel remain an obstacle to many low-income Kenyan families. But now, change is underway. Slowly and steadily, Kenya is shifting towards cleaner cooking fuels like liquefied petroleum gas or LPG. These fuels are good for people's health because they reduce a person's exposure to harmful pollutants. And what's more, they positively impact the environment as well by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Now, while clean modern cooking fuels are increasingly available in the country, they are yet to overcome consumer awareness, affordability and accessibility barriers. And to combat this, Kenya launched a clean cooking strategy in 2022. The government aimed towards making a behavioral change by advocating for the adoption of cleaner cooking methods. It conducted public awareness campaigns on promoting clean cooking in Kenya. Now the ministry is in the process of developing a national clean cooking strategy and an electric cooking strategy. In fact, the Ministry of Energy has proposed to address clean cooking as a human rights issue. Kenya has also announced the Cooking Gas Growth Policy. It aims to reduce the cost of LPG for households by nearly half. It requires all newly built affordable housing to be fitted with facilities to use LPG for cooking, thus providing the right environment for households to switch to LPG. Meanwhile, Kenya has also invested more than $200 million last year to build facilities that could handle and store LPG. A 45,000-ton site is in the works in the city of Mombasa. According to the government, this can help make clean cooking gas less expensive and to adopt universal clean cooking. Clean, affordable and scalable modern cooking solutions are the need of the hour in Kenya because the adoption of LPG will not only decrease the number of cases of respiratory diseases, it will also reduce deforestation and climate impacts from black carbon and methane. In Kenya, where more than 9 million households rely on traditional cooking fuels, change will be tough. But the nation is determined to gradually shift to clean cooking, which not only aims to help humans, but also the climate.
Fan of Italy's famous cuisine? Well, we are serving it with a side of diplomacy. As the G7 leaders gather in southern Italy, Vantage is taking you to the heart of the action. What's the agenda? Who is invited? And how is Italy preparing for it? Catch the special edition of Vantage throughout this week, only on Firstpost. Fan of Italy's famous cuisine? Well, we are serving it with a side of diplomacy. As G7 leaders gather in southern Italy, Vantage is taking you to the heart of the action. What's the agenda? Who is invited? And how is Italy preparing for it? Catch the special edition of Vantage throughout this week, only on Firstpost.